With the NCAA Wrestling Championships coming up over the weekend, I just want to run through each of the weight classes, make some predictions. I'm not going to go match by match entirely, but I'll kind of go quarter by quarter and kind of work my way down, tell you who I think is going to win and who I think will make the finals, and by the end we'll look at who I think is going to win the team title. So we'll start at 125. The top seed at 125 is Thomas Gilman. He's coming into this tournament undefeated. He's been a finalist previously. It looks to be his best chance to win the title in his senior year. The most difficult opponent for him is going to be Joey Dance, who's on the other side of the bracket. Now, he's beaten Dance in the tournament before. He can definitely do it again. But that's not going to be a match that he's going to win easily. It's going to be a match that's going to be very tough. It's probably going to come down to whoever gets the final takedown. So on the top half of the draw in the first quarter, him and Nathan Krasser from Campbell are the only seeded guys. I'd imagine Gilman gets through there pretty easily. Really on the top half of the draw, if you're looking for guys who might give Gilman some trouble, I think Tim Lambert could be a tough match, although he's beaten him in the past, and I'd imagine he'd be able to beat him again. Josh Rodriguez from North Dakota State has a pretty good chance, but again, it doesn't look like anybody on this half of the draw is going to be able to give him a whole lot of trouble. Now, on the bottom half, here's the most interesting part of 125, I believe, and that is what Nick Soriano is going to show up. So when he went out to the Big Ten championships, he was limping when he was walking the mat, so that could tell you a couple of things. If you're on the negative side, you're thinking, well, if you're Nick Soriano, you want to mask your injury, you don't want to look hurt, and for him to walk out limping on the mat, he couldn't mask it, like he still had to walk with a limp. You'd also could maybe think, well, maybe he's trying to overplay, maybe he's really close to recovery, he didn't want to take a risk at the Big Tens, but he's ready to go for the NCAAs. That's what you would have to hope for Penn State. Now, again, even if he's good enough to go, he'll still be limited in what he could do. But the question is he going to get blown off the mat and lose two straight and not get any points for Penn State, or is he going to actually make a run here? If I had to guess, I'm going to say he's going to get taken out pretty quickly. I don't think he's going to be able to wrestle with his injury and wrestle well with his injury. At best, he wins his first match, but I don't see him winning at least two matches here. So that would mean that Darian Cruz would be the other high-ranked guy on the bottom half of the draw. I think Ethan Lezak also poses a pretty good threat to Joey Dance. I think that's probably going to be the toughest match that Dance could have to face. But in the end, I'd give that bottom half of the draw to Dance. And then in the finals between Dance and Gilman, it's going to be a close one. But I'm going to give it to Thomas Gilman in his senior year. He's had Dance's number in the past. He's beaten Dance in the past. He's beaten Dance in the tournament in the past. And I think he's going to do it again this year to close out his career as a Hawkeye, as a national champion. At 133, the top-ranked guy is Nathan Tomasello, who is 19-0 at 133 now. Obviously, he wrestled at 125 last year. Won the Big Tens this year with a close win over Corey Clark, where he scored in the final seconds to get the win in regulation without having to go to sudden victory. He's got a pretty tough half of the draw, to be quite honest. He's got Corey Clark and Steven Micic in there. Zane Richards is also going to be a tough guy. Any of those three, I mean, they've got a shot. I don't know that I'd give Richards much of a shot against Tomasello, but between Richards, Micic, and Corey Clark, I mean, those guys have all been towards the top of the division and are all really dangerous. Now, Corey Clark came into the year ranked number one at this weight class. It was one of those things where we were all kind of waiting to see how he would do against Tomasello, and we all figured that it would either be Tomasello or Clark that would get the number one seed at the Nationals. And prior to the meet against South Dakota State, Clark got injured, wasn't able to wrestle against Seth Gross, which is unfortunate because that could have told us a lot. Philip Lau filled in for him there. And then beyond that, like it looks like he's getting better. He's wrestled a little bit better lately, but he's had some tough losses. Obviously, he lost to Cade Brock. He lost to Nathan Tomasello in the finals. He lost to Eric Montoya of Nebraska as well. So you have to wonder with him, how's his recovery going? What can he do? You'd have to imagine his shoulder's going to be wrapped up. He's not going to be at 100%. If he can wrestle close to what he's capable of, and that close match with Tomasello, now granted it didn't look like he was ever really at a point where he was going to win, but he was hanging in there, and when Corey Clark hangs in, you never know what's going to happen. If he can be at his best, if the extra 10 days of recovery help him out, there's a chance that he could actually make a run and give Tomasello a lot of trouble on the top half of the draw and possibly even upset him. Now, I believe last year it was Thomas Gilman who wrestled Tomasello in the semifinals, and Tomasello was expected to win that match. Gilman ended up sticking him and got to the finals. So Tomasello's been upset before, and he's been upset by a Hawkeye before, for that matter. So it'll be interesting to see, but I feel like there's too much unknown about that. I think Steven Micic is going to give Corey Clark a lot of trouble to begin with. Now, Clark has beaten Micic this year, but a healthy Micic versus an injured Clark, you would have to think probably goes to Micic. If nothing else, it's going to be a very tight match. So on the top half of the draw, I'll give that to Nathan Tomasello. On the bottom half of the draw, the number 2 seed is Seth Gross. The number 3 seed is Cade Brock. Other notable guys down there, there's Dom Forrest from Pitt, but Eric Montoya as well, who has the 7th seed from Nebraska. He'll be tough. He's a guy who might be able to give Seth Gross a lot of trouble. Seth Gross, we've seen him beat Cade Brock, but we didn't get to see the Corey Clark match, and since he's not wrestling in the Big Ten, you're kind of limited in what you can see from him. I'm really high on Cade Brock. Cade Brock he's just an excellent offensive wrestler. Now, if you remember last year, he made a big name for himself by pinning Corey Brewer, who was a former champion, before he ended up blowing out his knee and having to miss the rest of the season. I feel like this could be Brock's year. I'm going to pick him to be in the finals, and I'm going to pick him to win. So at 141,